So, this is now Disney, Fox, and Universal Focus Pictures, since I did Sony and Warner Bros. So, let's get into this with my film ranking of these videos back to back because they were presented the same day. So, anyways, let's get started down to business based on my excitement. Coming in last place is the untitled Alien film, in which I really love Alien franchise. I love the 79 version and even Aliens, which is probably one of the best of the franchise. And then next two fell apart. And then there's Aliens vs. Predators. And then there was the prequel, Prometheus, and Alien Covenant. I'm just sure, what is this? Is this going to be a reboot? Or is this just going to be like a sequel? Or another prequel? But I'm not really sure if this is going to be some sort of reboot. And this has me so confused. I'm not familiar with the director, Fede Alvarez. I'm not really familiar with his work. So, this one is very low on the bottom for me. Next up, A Haunting in Venice. This is the movie with Kenneth Branagh, in which this is starring him, Michelle Yeoh, Jamie Dornan, Kyle Allen, Kelly Riley, and Tina Fey. And this also is based on a book. But to be clear, I'm not really quite interested in like all those movies that he's doing. Like he's doing Murder on the Orient Express, Death on the Nile, which I'm not really crazy about. It's something I'm not really interested at all. No, I'm not. And yeah. So yeah. Next up, Wish. Now this is supposed to be a Disney movie, animated, and I really wish I could put this one higher on the list. But I do know that Ariana DeBose, the Academy Award winner Ariana DeBose, and Chris Pine are in it. I respect them. But I'm not really quite crazy about it. I'm not like fully into it at all. I got a little confused about it because I thought it was sort of a reference to the Disney cruise, but I was immediately wrong about it. So, I mean, there's some potential in there, but for me, it's just like, yeah. Next up, The Marvels. That I know some of y'all pretty much don't like the first one, but this is a sequel to The Marvels and a sequel to Ms. Marvel, having the Marvels like teaming up together. And like at the end of like the scene of Ms. Marvel, like Captain Marvel and Ms. Marvel swap places. Okay, it was supposed to come out in July, but then got delayed till November. And so this one that's kind of frustrating me because the first one really didn't that well. But with Kamala, Carol, and Monica, and it sounds like a lot of fun. All the trailer that we got a lot of dislikes, in which this makes me a little nervous. Yeah, I'm a little nervous about what's happening with the film itself. And I really wish I could put this one higher on the list, but I just couldn't because the trailer that we got and what's hoped to be some promising, but it's just like it's very low on the list. Next up, Elemental. Now this is a Disney Pixar movie about elementals, like a water person and a fire person coming out together. But it is expected to come out a day before my 20th birthday, which I'm glad you did know. However, this is very low on the list because Pixar and has been having a very rough time with movies, and like the streaming service, and when they returned with Lightyear, has been very, very rough. I hope this could be the chance to like return to form for this movie, but I'm just on that. It's has potential in there because I love Pixar, I like Disney and their movies, but it's so scary. Yeah, this is too much to me, and I'm like too nervous to talk about it, and I'm just like not really sure what it's gonna be, but I hope that myself can like put us in little stuff that Pixar can redeem. Next up, The Creator. Now, this is a movie that's starring John David Washington, and the premise of this movie describes a post-apocalyptic thriller involving a future impact by a war between humans and AI. And this is done by the guy who did Rogue One, and of course, the reboot of Godzilla, and which I really have hopes for this as well. Having Allison Janney in this. And so this has a lot of promise. And I do see potential, and I do like John David Washington. Fun fact, he is the son of Denzel Washington. And so this one makes the list very high because of Gareth Edwards and John David Washington. Very cool. Next up, The Haunted Mansion. Now, 20 years ago, we had a Haunted Mansion movie that was not all that great, but it did star Eddie Murphy. But now we are getting one by Justin Simon, who just an uprise acting, and it's based on a Disney ride. And of course, we're getting Lakeith Stanfield, Tiffany Haddish, Owen Wilson, Danny DeVito, Rosario Dawson, Jamie Lee Curtis, Jared Leto, Dan Levy, Hans Minaj, and Winona Ryder. And which I'm totally down for. And most of the Disney ride movies have not been great, but there's been some like success with Pirates of the Caribbean, and now you have Jungle Cruise recently. And so I hope this one can be good. And if it can succeed with the others like Pirates of the Caribbean and Jungle Cruise, I'd be on board. But now I'm gonna keep it right there, since it's like a Disney movie based on a theme park ride. Next up, Next Goal Wins. Now this is a movie that's being directed by Taika Waititi after Thor, Love, and Thunder, in which this stars Michael Fassbender, Elizabeth Moss, Will Arnett, and that's all I know. And this is mostly about a Dutch-American football team coach. Thomas Rogan is tasked with turning the American Samoa team, considered one of the weakest football teams in the world, into an elite squad. Interesting. In which I do like sports movies. And this is also based on Next Goal by Mike Brett and Steve Jamison. I'm definitely down with that. And it's based on the same documentary of the same name. I'm totally up for. And I like soccer. I like sports movies. And this one can succeed. I'd be all on board. This might be one of the toughest movies of the year, if it can. And next up, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Now, this is a movie that's been through a lot of the craziness, but this is supposed to come out Friday, and we just got the first review on it. Apparently, it's very good, and I'm so excited to see it, and I can't wait to give one last goodbye to the Guardians, because all the times where you've been through with them, like the first two movies, especially with Infinity War and Endgame, the holiday special, were so fun to be with, and I just can't wait to see what James Gunn does to close out these characters' times. And this is gonna be his last Marvel movie before he takes over DC. So one last ride, one last time to face the music. And in first place goes the Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Now, I really didn't expect that they were gonna have another Indiana Jones, but Harrison Ford back in 2016 confirmed that parties were set to make an Indiana Jones movie. Spielberg was supposed to be directing this, but he probably thought about it after touched the last one with Crystal Skull, so he dropped out of it. And so James Mangold is coming in, which does sound like a good pick because he did Logan, Ford vs. Ferrari, 310 to Yuma, Walk the Line, and you have an old Harrison Ford coming in one last time, in which the trailers have my excitement, and I just can't wait to say goodbye to Indiana Jones. He's fun to be with. Harrison Ford is fun to see on screen, and I'm hoping the movie can do well better than Crystal Skull. But let's also hope that Shia LaBeouf doesn't come in. Most importantly, Indiana Jones is one of my favorite franchises of all time. So, this comes in at number one, and I will say I'm ready to see this because I've been so excited ever since they announced this, and so I'm ready to go for it. Now, next up is Universal and Focus Features. So let's begin. Coming up first place is Illumination's Migration. There's not really much to say about this movie. It's an animated movie, and there's nothing really to get excited about. Yeah, moving along. Next up, The Exorcist Believer. Now, this is mostly from the Exorcist franchise, and which is to be 10 of the first 3 new Exorcist film and the 6th installment of the franchise overall, which is supposed to come out in October, starring Leslie Odom Jr., Ellen Burr, and Doyle, Jeffrey Nutless, which I only know Leslie Odom Jr., and not really familiar with David Gordon Green's work, and of course it's being involved with Blumhouse Productions. One of the screenwriters is Danny McBride. Okay. Not really sure. Movie that could scare the crap out of me, but I'm too excited because after the first one that came out in '73, it sucked. Yeah, moving on. Ever since all these movies came out after '73, well, basically some of them have been good, some of them have been bad. Yeah, moving on. Next up, Megan 2. Now, this is a movie that I'm excuse me, haven't seen because I didn't think Megan would be good, but it turns out it got very positive reviews, and somehow we're getting a sequel. Okay. There's no any plot about it, but I do know that Megan is supposed to be returning with the same director, and it's supposed to come out in 2025. Cool. Wait, I'm not fully crazy about it because the reason I put this one on because some sequels may suck after the original. I really don't think we need one because I think it's one of those franchises that probably should have stopped it after one. But at the same time, all of the positive things that they did with Megan makes me want to be excited, but I just couldn't put this one higher on the list because there's nothing yet to know about. Next up, Saw X. Now, here's the thing, to be clear, and I know you're probably gonna get mad at me, but I've never been a huge Saw fan, so no. It's not my cup of tea, and I've never really been into this. But I do like that it has the word X. And it's supposed to be released this Halloween. Okay, but some of the movies have been gone downhill. Some of them good, but not great. So, yeah. Next up, The Expendables 4. Now, originally, I thought they were gonna do a standalone sequel with Jason Statham's character. Turns out it's just another team-up movie with everybody, including 50 Cent, Fox, Dolph Lundgren, Andy Garcia. You also have Sylvester Stallone coming in. But I gotta be honest, y'all. Love the first two Expendables, but when Bruce Willis kind of left out for the third one because he wanted more money, I wasn't really quite sure that the Expendables 4 looks all that promising because, well, I do know Sylvester Stallone is probably one of the fun actors to be with, but sometimes he's the guy wants to continue to make money. But of course, he's been doing this show called Tulsa King. And when does the Expendables 4 comes out? When does the Expendables 4 come out? Let me check. I think it's supposed to come out. It's supposed to come out in 2024. I believe it's supposed to come out in 2023. Okay, and so we have Megan Fox. All right, in which Megan Fox has barely done anything in a while to me. Yeah, to be quite honest. In which there's no premise about it yet. I mean, it's been a while since we got one of these. Let's be going R-rated. So, some participation, but not a big fan of this franchise. But anyways, still excited. And Sylvester Stallone's in it. Next up, The Black Phone 2. Now, the first one had done very well, and Ethan Hawke did very, very good. There's a lot of scares, there's horror in there, and this was based on The Black Phone by Jonah Hill. Very scary indeed. But now there's about a sequel that they have confirmed the CinemaCon Digital identifying the Black Phone as one of the studio's newest franchises, teasing initial plans for a sequel. Okay, and so there's nothing really new to add, nothing like new about it. It's just like that it could be a while before we get a sequel. Next up, Strays. Now, this is a movie with Will Ferrell as a dog. Yeah, and it's a rated R movie, so I could be expecting like some crazy dog violence in here. Might go crazy, might go wild, but I might laugh out loud when I see this. Next up, Fast X Part 2. Now, Fast X hasn't come out yet. We don't know the reviews about it. But there was some drama with, like, Justin Lin leaving, and so. And he only left because of Vin Diesel. Which I still have some participation and some excitement about Fast X. But I don't know. I respect what they did with like the last one. There were a little bit of criticism with F9, but I don't know. It's like a taco, no, not taco, not taco. It's like enjoyable action movie, B movie. A lot of craziness, a lot of fun to it. Of course, we're having Rachel Caz come back. We're having Jason Momoa as like the villain. Charlize Theron back. Anyway, this one's supposed to come out in a couple more weeks. But this sequel, I mean, Diesel plans that he wants to have Robert Downey Jr. in the final installment. And then Michelle Rodriguez said that she wants Matt Damon to be included in the final as well. Diesel also said and confirmed that the 11th film will be the final installment, saying that the most recent CinemaCon on the 26th, Diesel revealed the 11th film will be released in 2025. Alright, so now we know when it will be released, and there's going to be some excitement to it, but we just need to know like what's going to happen, and we just need to go see it first, and yeah. So, can't wait to check this out, and hopefully it could be approved over F9, but if it does disappoint me, I'll be very disappointed. But this could be shot back to back. So, want more speed. Next up, Wicked. Now, this is, Wicked Part 1. Or just Wicked. Which this is based on the play Wicked. And this is starring Sita Ebro, Ariana Grande, Jonathan Bailey, Ethan Slater, Jeff Goldblum, and Michelle Yeoh. And this is supposed to come out in 2024. And we just recently got some videos about Ariana Grande singing, like as Linda Upland. In which I gotta be honest, I never really seen this play before, but I'm really down for that one. I'm really down with this because I've been like a fan of Ariana Grande ever since like her song Thinking Next and like all like the new albums that she keep putting out, especially like Save Your Tears with The Weeknd, listening to the Die For You remix. She can sing, she can do anything. In which this is gonna be directed by the guy named John M. Chu, in which who did Crazy Rich Asians. So this is promising, and I'm excited, even though there's been long development, multiple delays because of COVID. But they just began photography in December in England. And this is supposed to be part 1 in 2024 and part 2 in 2025. So I can't wait to check this out. So yeah, all I gotta say. Next up, Kung Fu Panda 4. Now this was just announced at CinemaCon, and they're confirming that Kung Fu Panda 4 will be out March 8th, 2024. Even Jack Black was there, saying something about it. I mean, Kung Fu Panda was always part of my childhood. I've always been a fan of it. Remember going to see this movie when I was like, maybe like, I think it was like 5 when I saw it, the first one. So I love these movies. I always loved DreamWorks films. Love the characters so much. I've always loved Jack Black in these movies. And so I'm down with this one. Next up is our runner-up for Universal and Focus Feature, The Fall Guy. Now this is a movie that's starring Ryan Gosling, and you also have Emily Blunt, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Somebody Hoosh, Winston Duke, Hannah Wanaham, and Teresa Palmer, And this is a movie which is the premise is a battered and past his prime stuntman finds himself working on a movie set with the star for whom he don't long ago and replaced them. Then the star go missing, which is a action thriller movie as done by the director named David Leitch, who's done Atomic Blonde, the Deadpool 2 sequel, Hobbs and Shaw, and of course Bullet Train, Bullet Train was like a B action movie. I really had a lot of fun with that one. And this is based on The Fall Guy by Glenn A. Larson. Needless to say more? Of course I want more. So I hope it's also going to be an action B movie. But in first place goes to Oppenheimer. Christopher Nolan is trying his best to win an Oscar, and so he kind of like decided to start working with WB after all the streamings they've gone through, and now we get a person. He's doing Oppenheimer, who was a real person, in which you have a huge set of cast, including Cillian Murphy, Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr., Florence Pugh, and many others. So this one has definitely a lot of potential. And so excitement because Christopher Nolan has never made a bad film. And so the question is, could this be the Oscar winner? I don't know. But I hope this one gets nominated for an Oscar. But it's way too early for the Oscars. So this comes in at number 1 because it's Christopher Nolan. And that will do it for us. Okay. So, yeah. Good night, everybody.